For those of you that follow the channel for a while, you probably noticed I've been silent on YouTube for the last few months. I've had a lot going on. I figured I probably owed you guys an explanation as to what's been going on and just kind of give you an update on my life in general. Back in January, I had an eye surgery to a partial thickness cornea replacement on one of my eyes for a thing called Fuchs dystrophy that just kind of blurs my vision and makes it kind of cloudy, particularly at night. It was getting pretty bad where I couldn't really drive. And then in February, I had the second eye done, and those both took me down for a period of days and kind of messed up my vision for weeks afterwards. So that slowed me down. Late last year, my daughter asked my wife and I to move across the state to be closer to her because she's going to settle down on the other side of the state. And while my initial reaction was, that sucks because we've got a lot going on the farm with, kind of built my own little kingdom there with a shop and all the other things that I built on the farm. And it was, that was nice. But once I got my head wrapped around it, decide how we can do all that stuff again. It'd be better to be close to her, and as she's getting, as she potentially has kids, it'd be nice to be present as grandparents. So we decided to go ahead and make the move. So we went through the process of, splitting the farm and the land and selling the land and selling the house and finding a new lot and interviewing a bunch of builders, deciding on a builder finally, and then going through the design process and all that. And now we're pretty much through the design process. We should break ground in about 2 or 3 weeks, and that'll be exciting. I'm really anxious to get that done. And because we were moving or about ready to start breaking ground, I wanted to move into a place that's closer during the build process where I can keep an eye on things. So I know that's probably not what the builder wants me to do, but I just got to see how things are progressing as they're progressing. So we moved into a small rental, and we'll be here until the house is complete. And that totally changes the shop. I used to have a 2,000 square foot shop plus a print farm in the basement of the house, which was super spacious and awesome. Now some of the part storage is actually stored in my bedroom. In a tiny room off of the bedroom, I have the print farm set up. It's jammed in there. My big assembly table and the soldering station, and I had 14 printers before. Now I'm down to 8, and it's all jam packed. So it's definitely not the space luxury I had before, but this is temporary. We'll get back to something a little bit more suitable as soon as the new house is built. And then a third surgery I had to deal with. I was over here about a month ago in the new location, doing a meeting for the build process of the house, and I was staying the night, and I woke up at about midnight with my stomach and really high up in my stomach just killing me, and it wasn't going away. And after a while I thought, I don't think I'm having a heart attack, but something's not right. So I decided to go to the ER, and after being there for hours and hours and hours, they said, hey, you know what, you need to have your gallbladder replaced. It's got a bunch of sludge and some issues, and you've chronic blah blah blah. And so I had my gallbladder taken out, not replaced. I think I said replaced. That would be silly, but I don't know, maybe it'd be awesome because it kind of sucks not having a gallbladder sometimes. At least it does now, and hopefully my body gets used to that. But right now when I eat my first meal of the day, is kind of brutal on my stomach. But anyway, so had that to go through about a month ago. Had all the packing and moving, and that process was going on kind of during my recovery. So that was a little bit crippled. I need to have some help getting that done more than I would have otherwise. But we're through that now. In the temporary place, have the temporary print farm set up. I'll give you a quick show what that looks like here as when I wrap this up. But a lot going on. 3 surgeries, the move, the build, all the stuff that goes along with that. It's been, packing, throwing stuff away like crazy. The big purge. You live in a place for 20 years, you tend to accumulate a lot of stuff, and that was quite a deal. But like I said, all behind me, new print farm's up and running, got the assembly station, solder station, all that, and I'll give you a quick look at that right now. So here is the new the new and massively shrunken Ugly Dog wood shop. The CNC is packed up in storage, and I won't have access to that until the house is done. But fortunately, I don't need that to produce a lot of things that I sell, so I think I can hobble by without it. But here we go with what used to be a 6x4 assembly table and a separate soldering station. Now I just have this little bitty table that I try to do all the assembly and soldering on, and that's definitely not the space luxury it once was. We have 8 printers running now instead of the 14 I used to have. That's decent, and I can keep up with things with that as long as I keep busy. Still have filament storage and so forth on top. It's jam packed. I'm kind of have to reduce inventory from what I used to do, but that is what it is. To have all the shipping containers, the boxes, documentation, spare AMSs, and printer, a bunch of parts, and I have 2 more larger racks of parts in my bedroom. Just because there's enough parts, I try to keep everything printed ahead of time so I can just pack and ship when orders come in. A bunch of tools and things I use for various aspects of the business. And then this is kind of my new packing station, just built right into the shelving. And then this is the tiny little drill press that I bought to insert magnets. And maybe there's a better way to do it, but I don't know what it is. For less than $200, you can get a little drill press, and they're great for pressing magnets into 3D printed parts. But that's what it looks like. The new massively shrunken Ugly Dog wood shop. This is the way it's going to be for the next few months. Thank you again for your support. I very much appreciate everyone's business, and I'll get back to producing some content here in the next few days.